Can you speak to what being a trial or defense counsel looks like as a judge advocate and how that differs from your experience in the 5 years that you were practicing private law?
So as a trial counsel, you get assigned cases from your senior counsel, and you then are handling that file. And so hopefully there's one or two of you, but trial life is more of a lone wolf practice. So you're handed a file and you got to do your own investigation. You call up witnesses, you seek documents, you talk to the command. And if the case ultimately proceeds to whatever form it's going to go to, whether it's administrative discharge, which is at a board, or whether the Marine is being held, or sailor in the brig, so in pretrial confinement, you'll have an initial review hearing to try to either keep that person in the brig or let them out of the brig. And then the case goes to trial or ADSEP or however it goes. There's plea negotiations potentially, and the case ultimately resolves itself. On the defense side, you get the case a little bit later because it's already gotten to a point where it's either being referred to court-martial or it's going to ADSEP, or you just find out that your new client is in the brig and you need to go try to get him out if he wants to get out or if it's appropriate to get him out. And yeah, same kind of process. The senior counsel assigns you a case, and then you go do your investigation and try to prep the case from your side. There are motions hearings, there are pretrial proceedings that occur, and ultimately, if you can't come to a plea agreement or if there's no offer for one or no acceptance of one, you'll take the case to trial and hopefully to that full acquittal.
Okay, cool. And on average, how often would you say a first year or second year judge advocate is in the courtroom?
It's pretty often, and it's more often as a first tour in the Marine Corps than it would be as a junior associate. You know, the difference is there's a lot of non-billable work that goes on the outside. So in the Marine Corps, your clients are given to you and assigned to you by that senior counsel. In the civilian world, they may be given to you by a partner, but somebody, and it may be in part you or in whole you, has to go find those clients and market yourself to people that are looking for legal services, whether it's online or whether it's in person or whether it's through a referral network. And as a junior associate at a law firm, you're by definition brand new to the practice, so you're not necessarily going to have that referral network and you don't have a reputation. So you're starting from, you know, in order to get your start, you've got to have either someone supporting you, like a partner level attorney that's assigning you things, or you've got to just go out and market yourself, which is notoriously difficult. The Marine Corps takes care of all that. And there's a whole other aspect as well, which is once you finish the case, you got to get paid. And getting paid as a civilian attorney can be difficult. It's not automatic. You know, you're either charging things flat fee or you're billing by the hour and trying to collect monthly. But I was in situations regularly where we were negotiating the bill down, or my time was being written off by the partner level attorney. And by written off, I mean, like, let's say I had worked, 20 hours on this case and I had $20,000 of bills out, and the partner just says, well, we're going to no charge that time as a courtesy to the client who they have a relationship with. Mm-hmm. And the Marine Corps doesn't do that. You get paid in the same way that every other Marine gets paid, like clockwork, at the beginning and in the middle of the month. So that's one huge difference between the civilian practice and the military practice. And of course, I wasn't primarily focused on criminal law. I had a cousin who liked to get in trouble routinely, and so that was how I got my criminal law clients on the outside, was when she would call up because
Nice.
She'd been arrested. Yeah, the military practice is vigorous. There can be times when you're very, very busy. Certainly when you're on trial, you're working almost around the clock. A general court-martial usually lasts about a week. And so in the preparation to that week and then during that week, you're working late into the night and then early in the morning. That, you're not necessarily on trial every week because you need time to prep the cases, but in between that time, you're doing your investigations, you're calling up your witnesses, you're preparing the cases that may go to court-martial, you're doing legal research, filing motions, drafting motions, and then also you're doing administrative discharge boards, which are essentially an employment hearing for Marines that are being either recommended for separation from the service by their commanding officer due to misconduct or due to substandard performance. And those cases are a really good training tool for judge advocates who are looking to get experience in advocacy. And it's a relatively low stakes hearing, because the worst thing that can happen at an administrative discharge board is that someone gets separated from the military with an other than honorable characterization of service. And that sounds bad. It's not a dishonorable discharge. It's not a punitive discharge. It's a purely administrative hearing. But that person's career has ended, and now they're essentially being fired from the Marine Corps. So it offers a great opportunity. You have members, you have evidence, you have witnesses. It's essentially the same process, just with less gravity involved. And for those Marines, especially on the defense side, the cases they're very serious. So, you fight hard for your clients. And I had many administrative discharge boards that, erupted into acrimony in this courtroom, and you can get very invested in these cases, trying to save these Marines' careers. But the discharge boards, I think, there's something that's where I developed my skills in the courtroom of how to convince three members of whether to retain or separate the Marine. And I've been on both sides of the ADSET boards. So that's another thing that occupies your time. And not to mention, you're doing all the things that Marines do. Physical fitness, you're doing your annual training, your rifle and pistol qualifications, martial arts instructor course if you're so inclined. I did a lot of different things that my leadership was very gracious and helpful in getting me out to do these things that I wanted to do, that were exciting, unique, fun, and definitely not something that a civilian law firm gives you the opportunity to do.